What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Killing Eve Season 4, Episode 1 and 2 review and breakdown. Now, I was surprised that there was going to be 2 episodes, and we pick up after that bridge episode at the end of last season. And while many of us were hoping that maybe at some point Eve and Villanelle were starting to, work together, they could not be further apart where we open this season. Now, we open in Russia. Oops, a bit of a sore subject there, as a motorbike rider assaults what looks like a government building, and we learn that Constantine is now an elected official, and the motorbike assassin is not Villanelle, but Eve, as she grills him and shoots him in the hand. She wants to know how to find the 12. She's told to look up new recruits and work backwards to find Helene, who is going to be her key to taking down the 12. She's given the name of a newer recruit, Rhiannon Bevan, who we know died at the hands of Villanelle last season. No love lost there. And, well, it's clear that Eve and Villanelle are apart, as he asks why not just ask Villanelle, as we cut to her singing in a church. And seeing her in different jobs as cover stories is the highlight here. And while initially I thought that this was an elaborate thing to start a hit, it was not, as she is trying to actually get better, trying to find Jesus and work on herself. We love a self-care queen. Now, she's complimented in her singing as Eve heads to her hotel room, with the roles being switched here, which is pretty funny. And we see her target board and the name of the new recruit who died, who she is going to work on, and she's working with a guy here, and she seems to have, gotten over her husband there as they run surveillance, and Villanelle is trying to get her to come to her baptism to prove that she has changed. It seems that Villanelle wants her, or Eve, to try and know that Villanelle can change, but as we know, she cannot. Now we cut to Mallorca, where Carolyn, who is there as a cultural attaché, she's bored with a new posting, and Eve and Anube track down to where the recruit's body was taken, as Carolyn entertains a guest who discusses a dead body. Carolyn's whole storyline here was a bit confusing, and I'm hoping that we find out what's going to happen with her more a bit later in the season, as the D-bag guy from last season taunts Carolyn over having proof of her killing one of the 12, and we cut to Villanelle living with 2 religious people as she is all in on this Jesus thing, making fish and loaves there, which is interesting. And she wants to atone for her sins, but there's always a plan with her, but there isn't here. She simply wants to chase that family life. As we know last season, her whole family life did not work out. But, well, we know that a leopard cannot change her spots, and so does the cat. As well, the poor cat is killed, and her new friend tells her how nice she is, and it made me laugh that her friend's writing a dirty book there, as she is way too into her than she should be for someone who is a former assassin, but they don't know that, do they? Now, it's interesting here as Carolyn says that she needs help to Eve, who, well, she can't do anything. She can't do anything to track down the 12, and she knows that Eve is working private security and wants to take over her research for her, which she can't do as she's out in the cold, so Eve takes on the baton here. And, well, Carolyn even offers to actually pay for the help there, as Villanelle prepares for a baptism, and, well, she wants to save a seat for Eve, but Eve just does not care. I really do like this here, and one problem I do have with the show is that they just keep them apart, but I guess, that's the whole point and why we keep watching each week. Now, Villanelle is desperate for her or Eve to show that she's been redeemed, and it seems that she's only going to get her redemption when Eve says that she's changed. She can't find it for herself and accept it. She's even caught burying the cat, and her commitment to being baptized is questioned. She wants to prove she isn't that bad inside, as Eve heads to follow up the lead on Rhiannon Bevan, who will be her lead into the 12. She speaks to a sleazy salesman and is taken to the mortician, who is really, really weird, And I did think that what was the point of that scene, but it turns out that the mortician was working for Helene, who Eve is after. Now, interestingly, even after dunking her head in holy water, Villanelle's sins cannot be washed off, and, well, the others look into the portfolio given them by Carolyn. And Eve looks at the aquarium, and Villanelle turns up saying she forgives her. What happened after that bridge? Man, I find it weird and a bit jarring that they didn't do anything else with that. It's funny as well, it looks like Romeo and Juliet, and Villanelle says it's painful for Eve to see her blossom, which it's an interesting one. The relationship is so complicated, and I absolutely love it. It's a testament to the acting and the writing. Now, Eve stakes out the mortician, knowing that there's more than meets the eye, and is attacked as that person gets in the car with Helene. And Villanelle hilariously confronts a vision of Jesus and talks to a new friend how Eve doesn't believe she's a Christian, and she turns and, well, her mate wants to smooch her, only to end up with Villanelle dunking her, which almost kills her. But yeah, it's a big one there. As Carolyn arrives in Russia, and she, well, at least is a big one here as we move on to episode 2. We open with Helene at the Tower of London watching a torture scene, and she says it is, or at least the torture only hurts if you let it, hinting that she does facilitate torture and has a sick satisfaction in torture. As Villanelle is at a Bible retreat as the bus breaks down outside Hemel Hempstead, couldn't think of anything worse, and wants to make a speech and recite scripture about repenting for a sinner, and a sinner becoming a good person is bigger than anything else. And she continues her path of enlightenment, trying to get kind of forgiveness for her friend as she tried to kill her. Poor Villanelle is in a tent on her own and ostracized, but her vision of Jesus urges her to make friends, but seems to be giving her the wrong advice, and discusses how the vicar is threatened by her. She goes to talk to a friend and says how it's important that she didn't actually kill her. She's starting to reform. And Yves Bay says that Helene lives in Paris, which is where they're going to head next, which the Bible camp kicks off huge, and Villanelle and her mate go deeper in the woods to have some primal scream therapy. Now, interestingly, Eve then decides to go full on with Helene. She decides that she's going to have to go the direct approach as Carolyn goes to Moscow and discusses intelligence with Vlad, and how her dickhead guy who is horrible to her is primed for honey trapping, and she's keen to work for the Russians as it's a means to take out the 12. Now we learn that while Villanelle's mum's friend did die in a car crash, and her pious father was actually driving, meaning that, well, he was behind it. During the game of Guess the Person, he taunts her by putting Hitler on her card thing, and in a savage moment, she does actually reveal what the guy did. He pretends to be pious while she isn't. She's trying to atone, and she returns to the group to ostracized as they hate her. He's forgiven for changing and being the man he is today, which is what she wants all along, which he's not very nice, is he? Anyway, and Caroline is threatened in Russia, and we head to Paris. She's warned off going direct, but, well, she actually does. She ignores the warnings and goes direct to Helene and wants to cook a shepherd's pie. But it turns out that Helene wants to take down the 12 as well. I do wonder why she wants to do that, but the direct approach has worked, as Eve has dropped the mic and, well, walks out being like an absolute badass. And we end the episode with Villanelle no longer a wannabe Christian there, as she's overhears her friends, her friend, and her father saying how she's the devil, and absolutely destroys them. Yes, what a pair of episodes this was. I can see why they dropped these 2 episodes, as well it sets us up for the season good and proper. Overall, I really loved it. I would love to hear what you think. What do you think? I think Villanelle is going to end up working with Eve as Helene, and her did have that relationship, so they will link up. But that is it for this video. Please drop a like down below, do subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.